Welcome, fellow citizens of YouTube. I am Based, and today I'm gonna tell you how Bakhmut is gonna fall. First of all, subscribe to my channel. I've got some nice based videos coming soon, so if you like based stuff, then you'll like those videos. Let's start. Until now, Russia has pretty much exactly done what I've predicted in my first video, ways Russia is going to capture Donetsk or something. You know, they've captured Soledar, gone down here, etc. You can watch this video yourself. And now they're nearly complete with their three-way encirclement. They only need to capture Yahidne to cut this road and get a little bit closer to Ivanivske to cut this road. And then the only available road will be this road. When the Ukrainian roads are cut, they have a dilemma. They can either hold Bakhmut for a couple of more days or weeks and buy some time and sacrifice their forces, or they can retreat over the last road with their equipment intact and, get to fight another day, which is likely what they're gonna do. Usually commanders don't sacrifice their forces in cities unless you're in Stalingrad or something. The Ukrainians have done that a little bit, but yeah, they're certainly not going to sacrifice their good units with good equipment. They're maybe going to sacrifice some conscripts and territorial defense forces to hold Bakhmut for a couple more days. But they will probably or maybe retreat by themselves because they know that they've lost. So, why do I think the Russians are going to encircle Bakhmut and not just storm Bakhmut? Because look at Bakhmut, it's a big city, and in all this time, they've only managed to storm this and storm this and storm this. They're just, small footholds for Bakhmut to put some pressure on the city. And there are several ways the Russians could approach this. The first is not to advance at Ivanivske, which I think is likely, because look at Ivanivske, it's a small village, the Russians will have trouble with that, and the road is pretty much cut anyways. This is a pro-Ukrainian map, so it could well be that the Russians are already here or something. Those are 2 kilometers, so direct firing range for tanks. So yeah, the Russians just need a tank or something else here, and they have perfect fire control over this road. And even if they advance towards Ivanivske, the important key road is this one. They need to get close to cutting this road so the Ukrainians will retreat. And when they capture Ivanivske, there's forests, there is rivers, there's plenty of things in the way of capturing Chromove, or however this is pronounced, which the Russians need to do or get close to. So I don't think an advance from the south here is very likely. I think the Russians will advance from here. They're already advancing, which those arrows, symbolize. They are moving into Yahidne, in this village here. And they've already, broken through here. And this is a very open field with also forest cover for the infantry to move through without rivers or anything in the way, just fields and a little bit of forest, so they can quickly move to Chromove and cut off Bakhmut if need be. As I explained in my first video, the Russians probably are not trying to encircle Bakhmut very quickly, because that would mean that the infantry cut off in Bakhmut will fight to their deaths, because they also didn't surrender in Mariupol, at least not before weeks passed by. So yeah, I think they're gonna slowly squeeze here, without too many casualties. Squeeze a little bit here, establish good fire control here, squeeze and squeeze and squeeze until they've captured this here, have a foothold on this side of the river, captured Yahidne and the forest here, and the Ukrainians know, okay, we have 1 day to get out of Bakhmut, healthy, or we're gonna maybe get stuck here and die certainly. And nobody wants to die certainly. So therefore, that's when the Ukrainians are probably going to pull out of Bakhmut. And maybe it will actually then look like the Russians are storming Bakhmut, but the Ukrainians are actually retreating and the Russians are just using the footholds here to get into Bakhmut quickly. And that's roughly how Bakhmut is gonna fall. So watch out for this part here. This part is very, very important. Subscribe, 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 subscribe.